Every night, millions of dogs around the world make exactly the same choice. They ignore their own bed, the comfortable couch, or any other cozy spot in the house, and go to sleep right next to their owners. At first glance, this may seem like just a cute habit, a dog looking for warmth, affection, or simply companionship. But behind this behavior lies something far deeper than most people realize. The simple fact that a dog chooses to sleep near you is connected to thousands of years of evolution, ancient survival instincts, and a type of emotional bond that almost no other species has developed with humans. In fact, science shows that when dogs and humans interact, something remarkable happens inside both of their brains. Hormones linked to trust and affection are released, creating a real biological connection between two completely different species. And that raises an intriguing question. If dogs have so many comfortable places to sleep inside a home, why do so many of them insist on sleeping right next to their owners? What exactly is happening in a dog's mind when it decides that this is the safest place to rest? Is this behavior simply about affection, or is there a much older instinct behind it? How did a relationship that began with wild wolves eventually create animals that seek our presence even while they sleep? And what does this simple nightly habit reveal about the way dogs truly see us? To understand all of this, we need to go back thousands of years, long before beds, houses, or even cities existed, to discover where this story really began. Before we can understand why so many dogs insist on sleeping next to their owners, we need to go back thousands of years. The behavior that today happens inside bedrooms and on mattresses actually began long before houses, furniture, or even agriculture existed. It comes from a long evolutionary relationship between humans and the ancestors of modern dogs, a relationship that started with survival. Roughly 15,000 years ago, long before cities or farming, wolves began approaching early human camps. They were likely attracted by food scraps, fire, and the relative safety that human settlements provided. The wolves that were less aggressive and more tolerant of human presence gained a clear advantage. They had easier access to food and fewer threats from other predators. Over many generations, those friendlier wolves gradually evolved into the first domestic dogs. But this transformation did not just change the animals physically, it reshaped their behavior. Over thousands of years, dogs developed an unusual ability among animals: the capacity to form deep social bonds with humans. Genetic studies suggest that domestic dogs carry unique traits linked to friendliness and human-directed contact seeking, traits that are far less pronounced in wolves. In other words, dogs were gradually shaped at a genetic level to live alongside humans. Archaeological discoveries support this idea. In Germany, researchers uncovered a burial site dated to around 14,000 years ago. Two humans were buried together, and beside them were two dogs. But the detail that caught scientists' attention was this: one of those dogs had survived canine distemper, a disease that would normally kill within a few months. For the dog to survive, someone must have cared for it for weeks while it was sick. That discovery suggests something remarkable. Even thousands of years ago, dogs were already more than just working animals. They were companions. But to fully understand their behavior today, we also need to look at the social structure of their ancestors. Wolves are highly social animals that live in organized groups called packs. Within these packs, members cooperate to hunt, protect territory, and care for their young. Survival depends heavily on cooperation and trust between individuals. This social structure also shapes how wolves rest. In the wild, wolves rarely sleep completely alone. Instead, they often rest near other members of the pack. Sleeping in groups offers several advantages. It helps conserve body heat, strengthens social bonds, and creates a natural system of shared vigilance. While some individuals sleep deeply, others remain in lighter states of awareness, making it easier for the group to detect potential threats. And that detail matters because sleep is one of the most vulnerable states any animal can enter. When an animal is asleep, its ability to detect danger is reduced. Because of that, many species evolved strategies to reduce risk during rest. And one of the most effective strategies is sleeping close to trusted members of the group. Even though modern dogs live in human homes instead of wild landscapes, these instincts never disappeared. The social wiring built over thousands of years is still present in their brains. When a dog chooses to sleep near someone, it is not simply choosing a comfortable place. It is responding to ancient instincts tied to safety, trust, and group living. And that raises an important question. If this behavior comes from pack instincts and thousands of years of coevolution with humans, what exactly is happening psychologically and biologically when a dog decides that the safest place to sleep is right next to you? The reason dogs often choose to sleep next to their owners is not simply a matter of comfort or coincidence. Behind this behavior lies a fascinating combination of evolution, biology, and emotional bonding that has developed between dogs and humans over thousands of years. To understand why dogs like to sleep close to us, we first need to look at the long history of domestication. Scientists believe that dogs began their relationship with humans between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago, when early wolves started approaching human settlements. At first, this relationship was likely based on mutual benefit. Wolves could find food scraps near human camps, while humans may have benefited from the wolves' ability to alert them to danger. Over time, however, something extraordinary happened. The animals that were calmer, less aggressive, and more comfortable around humans were more likely to survive and reproduce. Generation after generation, these traits became stronger, eventually leading to the domesticated dogs we know today. But domestication didn't just change dogs physically, it also shaped their emotional and social abilities. Modern dogs are extremely skilled at reading human behavior. They can interpret facial expressions, follow pointing gestures, recognize tone of voice, and respond to emotional cues. These abilities are rare in the animal kingdom and show just how deeply dogs have adapted to living alongside humans. One of the most important discoveries in recent decades is that dogs form strong attachment bonds with their owners. Researchers studying animal behavior have found that many dogs relate to their humans in a way that is surprisingly similar to how young children bond with their caregivers. In fact, scientists tested this idea using an experiment inspired by a famous psychological test called the Strange Situation Test, originally developed to study the attachment between infants and their parents. In this type of experiment, a dog is placed in a room with its owner. Then the owner leaves the room for a short period before returning. Researchers observed the dog's reactions during each stage. The results were striking. Many dogs showed signs of stress or anxiety when their owner left the room. Some whined, paced, or stayed near the door. But when the owner returned, the dogs often showed clear signs of relief and excitement. This pattern suggested that dogs see their owners as a kind of emotional safe base. Just like a child who feels safer when a parent is nearby, dogs often feel more relaxed and confident when their trusted human is close. This emotional connection also affects the chemistry inside the brain. When dogs interact with their owners, whether through petting, eye contact, or spending time together, their bodies release a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is often referred to as the bonding hormone or the love hormone because it plays a key role in building trust and emotional attachment. What makes this even more fascinating is that the same thing happens in humans. When people interact affectionately with their dogs, their brains also release oxytocin. This creates a powerful two-way biological feedback system. Both the dog and the human experience a sense of comfort, bonding, and emotional connection. Sleeping close to the owner may strengthen this bond even further. During sleep, animals instinctively seek places where they feel safe. Being close to a trusted companion provides reassurance that the environment is secure. For dogs, their owner often represents the most reliable source of safety in their environment. The familiar sound of breathing, the warmth of the body, and even the scent of the owner can create a calming effect. Dogs rely heavily on their sense of smell to understand the world. A human's scent is one of the strongest signals of familiarity a dog can recognize. When a dog lies next to its owner, that scent reinforces the feeling that everything around them is normal and safe. Evolutionary instincts may also play an important role in this behavior. Before becoming domestic companions, the ancestors of dogs lived in highly social groups. Wolves and early wild dogs formed packs that depended on cooperation for survival. Within these packs, members often slept close together. Sleeping in a group had several advantages. It helped conserve body heat, strengthened social bonds between members, and increased the chances of detecting predators or other dangers during the night. Even though modern dogs no longer live in the wild, many of these instincts remain deeply rooted in their behavior. In a household environment, the human family often becomes the dog's social group. From the dog's perspective, sleeping near its owner may feel similar to the way pack members once slept close together in nature. This behavior signals belonging. It shows that the dog considers the owner part of its trusted group. Some dogs may even show stronger preferences for sleeping close to their owners during times of uncertainty. For example, when a dog is in an unfamiliar environment, experiencing changes in routine, or feeling anxious, it may seek more physical proximity to the person it trusts. This closeness can act as a source of reassurance. In many ways, sleeping beside an owner is one of the simplest and clearest expressions of the bond between humans and dogs. It reflects thousands of years of shared history, biological adaptation, and emotional connection. What might seem like a small everyday habit is actually the result of one of the most unique relationships ever formed between two species. After understanding the evolutionary history and the attachment system that connects dogs and humans, the simple act of a dog sleeping next to its owner takes on a deeper meaning. What may seem like a small nightly habit can actually reveal important information about trust, safety, and emotional connection. Sleep is one of the most vulnerable states any animal can enter. When an animal sleeps, its awareness decreases and its ability to react to danger becomes slower. Because of this, animals are naturally careful about where they rest and who they rest near. In the wild, choosing the wrong place to sleep could expose an animal to predators or other threats. For this reason, animals tend to sleep in places where they feel protected and secure. That instinct still exists in domestic dogs today. Inside a home, dogs usually have several comfortable places where they could rest: their own bed, a couch, a rug, or a quiet corner of the house. However, many dogs consistently choose to sleep close to their owner instead. This choice reflects a deep sense of trust. Over thousands of years of coexistence with humans, dogs developed strong attachment bonds with the people who care for them. When a dog sleeps next to its owner, it is often because that person represents safety, comfort, and protection. For the dog, being close to its owner during sleep can create a sense of calm and stability. Another important factor is routine. Dogs rely heavily on daily patterns to feel secure in their environment. Feeding times, walks, play sessions, and sleeping habits help create a predictable structure in their lives. When sleeping beside the owner becomes part of that routine, it reinforces the dog's sense that everything in its environment is safe and normal. However, this behavior can also provide clues when something changes. If a dog that usually sleeps near its owner suddenly chooses a different place, it may be reacting to changes in the environment. New pets, visitors, changes in household routines, or even subtle noises can affect where a dog feels most comfortable resting. In some cases, physical discomfort may also play a role. If climbing onto the bed becomes painful due to age or joint problems, a dog might start sleeping elsewhere. Because dogs cannot explain how they feel, these small behavioral changes can sometimes be important signals about their well-being. But when everything is normal, the pattern remains simple. Your dog walks through the house, ignores other comfortable spots, and eventually settles next to you. That decision reflects something built over thousands of years: trust. To your dog, sleeping beside you means being close to the place that feels safest. And if you enjoy learning about the hidden meanings behind everyday dog behaviors, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.